Hey folks, today we're going to talk about how to resize a hollow wood door and still maintain the framing. You're going to need the old door, or at least the dimensions of it, a new door, circular saw or a table saw, a drill, some screws, a piece of wood that's going to fit right in here. At Lowe's I found a 5/4 by 3/8 piece, and that seems to fit pretty nicely in here. The 5/4 piece, I believe that was white pine. Pencil and safety glasses. So I've got the old door. I don't know if you can see here. It's banged up. I've got it lined up there at the other end with the new door. And I'm just going to draw a nice line right here. Get this out of the way. So now we've got our shiny new door. We've got a line right here where we need to cut this to get it to fit the old door frame. Now it's an odd size, so we weren't able to buy a door right to this size. We're going to take our circular saw, and this one's got a nice little guide that you can adjust so you can line up and get a nice straight cut. You could use a table saw for this. That would be ideal. I don't have one of those. Now I adjusted this already so it's nicely lined up with this line here, and we're just going to cut right across. But if you've got one of these yourself, you'd want to adjust this so your blade is right on the line here. And always get the saw up to full speed before you start cutting. And let's see, I'm going to try to make this a little heavier. Nice. So now I've got the piece off. Ooh, and this is interesting. Got some framing in the middle here. This looks like it's just cardboard, but I'm going to have to break some of this off. This is unexpected. This is live right here, going down. I'm going to have to break some of that off to make room for this piece. Here, this is our 5/4. So it's a little bigger than you really need for this application. But right there, and that's going to fit right in there real nice. So we need to get that cardboard cut back to about there. I'm just going to push it in. These are the sorts of surprises you deal with doing stuff like this. All right. Now I'm going to measure this guy, see where we need to be. Just going to line him up right there. At this end. You'll notice I haven't used a tape measure yet. There's a time and there's a place for a tape measure. But me, I like to measure against the original object, if at all possible. Speed square is also useful for this sort of job, but you can get away without it. Need to take that guide off before we make another cut here. It's not an approved method, but it'll work. So I'm going to check the fit. Looks like it'll fit. But because I had to crunch that stuff in there, in case there's any debris left in here, I'm just going to bring this forward and let any of that debris fall out. I'm also going to use wood glue on here, which you don't need to do, but it's going to hold it in place a little better. Now you don't want to push this in too far, because once you get it in too far, you're going to have a heck of a time getting it back out. So because this is a good and tight fit here, I'm just going to give it some very light taps. Of course, on the other hand, I don't want it sticking out the bottom, because then the door might not close. So I'm going to do a quick check just to make sure this door did these cuts right. There's that door. And that's lined up pretty good. I made it maybe about a 1/16 or an 1/8 of an inch small, because the door will still close. It's an interior door, so we're not worried about insulation or anything like that. So now we're going to get our drill, and we're going to pre-drill these holes. And remember, at least this board that I'm using is 3 inches thick, so or 3 inches wide. There's plenty of room here for me to drill these holes. So I'm using exterior wood screws, because all the interior wood screws I found at Lowe's had those star bits. Like, they weren't hex, but they were some kind of star bit, and I don't like those so much. So I just broke down and bought the exterior screws. Now these have got a tapered end on them here. I don't know if you can see that. But that allows the screw to sit flush with the wood once it's all the way in there. And that's what we want. Ooh, cracking it already. I should have gotten smaller screws. Let's try up here and see if we have any the wood started to crack on that first screw I drove in, so I just let it go. What I'm going to do over here is I'm not even going to bother trying to drive one in there at the end. And there you have it, folks. It's that simple. This door's now got an additional frame on it. If you wanted to, you could drive screws in here to hold it a little bit more. I like the door to look nice and have one even texture here, so I'm just going to leave that. But I am going to clean the glue off of this side of the door here. That'll dry clear, so it shouldn't be a big deal. But there you have it. You could do the same thing along the long side of the door if you needed to make it less wide. And that's how you reframe the door. The key is finding these pieces that are going to fit. I might actually put a clamp on this to let that glue dry. But there you have it.